We're here with Master Jurgen Schmidt, instructor of Combat Hapkido, form of martial art that I think will benefit many of you. To call in and have some of your questions answered is the number, 532-6706. I want to ask you, Jurgen, because we've been talking so much, and I know you're an instructor, but how can people find you? Where are you located?
International Disabled Self-Defense Association, which at this point I've already taken worldwide. We have our own website, and we have our own newsletter, and through the association I've been able to reach a lot of people all around the world who have been interested in getting involved in the program. For example, a person can order the video series from any part of the country and actually be able to learn how to defend themselves by working with someone, either a martial arts instructor in their community or by themselves with someone else.
Okay.
Or they, you know, from the book or any means.
What's your website address?
www.defense-ability.com.
Can combat Hapkido, I know it can be used as a form of self-defense, but can it also be therapeutic for some?
Yeah. I do a lot of seminars all around the country, both for the able-bodied martial arts instructor and school owner, as well as for rehabilitation centers and for the disabled. One of the things that I like to emphasize and get into when I do a seminar, more so than the techniques themselves, because, you know, most of the time I usually only have a few hours with these people. I can't realistically show them all of the techniques or even most of the techniques to where they're going to actually be able to do something with it. So a lot of times I focus on the therapeutic and rehabilitative aspect of learning self-defense, because there's a lot more to it than just the technique itself. By doing all these movements and all this range and the punching, the deflecting of the strikes, it helps to get things going. A lot of times people will just be a little bit complacent, a little bit lazy, and tend to sit around. It's the same motivation that people have to exercise. Well, in this case, it's the same as a form of therapy.
So you have like circular motions,
oh, yeah.
You know, and all that would do it.
Oh, absolutely. I've actually put together a series of exercises to complement the self-defense program, just to get people doing things as far as, you know, bending, working on their abdominals, working on their balance. You know, a lot of the higher paras, say T10 and up, will have their balance compromised to the point where, you know, they can't really sit up perfectly still for any length of time. So there's exercises to work on improving and increasing their balance, as well as, you know, range of motion, their elbows. You know, some people can't reach high. So there's a whole series of exercises that are good to do, you know, not just the techniques themselves.
Have you had any that have come in that weren't so motivated and said, well, I guess give it a try, and then...
Nobody's motivated. In my experience, very few people are ever really motivated. It's only a small percentage. It's the same reason that why doesn't everybody exercise? You know, it's hard to develop that kind of motivation, and that's why there's always been the reluctance of disabled people to go to a martial arts school, first because they know that the instructor's probably not going to be able to teach them anything. They feel a little bit uncomfortable thinking they're going to interfere with the rest of the class, and all of this is simply not the case. I have found that instructors and school owners are actually willing and want to teach this program in their community, yet they don't have any idea of how to apply or implement this type of a program, where to get the students from, or, you know, put it together. And that's where I come in, by helping them to do that.
Then once after they see you, how do they feel?
Well, they feel this is something that is worthwhile. I mean, you know, more than anything, it's a community service. And the instructors that I've taught all around the country, they work with rehabilitation centers, with public hospitals, individual students. You know, again, most of these people have their own schools. Like, we have a school out in the Weston Bonaventure area where I do seminars, clinics, private classes, and things like that.
Well, I mean, is there anybody who's been following you for a long time, you know, studying?
Yeah, there's actually quite a few people around the country who really got into it, and, you know, they've been following up. The martial arts instructors that I've taught, most of them do this as a community service. For example, they will go and work as a consultant to a rehab center, you know, and do a clinic or like a mini seminar as part of the rehabilitation center program, either once or twice a month. A lot of rehab centers have outpatients, not inpatients. So what they'll do is they'll put a program together and they offer it to their patients either once or twice a month, or whatever the case may be.
So some of them need to contact you or contact you and
been,
find out
yeah.
who the other instructors are that you've been working with. You know, the therapists, I'm sure, should be quite open and receptive to this.
Oh, absolutely. I work, you know, with therapists as well as with the instructors because I'm sort of right in the middle. I have the able-bodied on one side and the disabled on the other. And that's why the programs were developed, you know, to be able to help both sides.
Well, Jurgen, I'm glad that you are involved in this because it sounds like something
Thank
that's
you.
wonderful for the able-bodied and the disabled.
Yes.
And we hope that we can have you again, and we want to thank you for coming by. We'll see you again next week with another healthy topic. I'm Daisy Glace.